What's up everyone? In today's video, I'm going to be covering all the recent changes to Rampart, and I'll also be giving you a comprehensive guide on how to play her properly, because this isn't season 6 anymore and Rampart is no longer a trash legend. So stay tuned throughout the video to learn how to master Rampart in season 10. Throughout the video, I'll be giving you a ton of tips and tricks on how to improve with her, so it doesn't matter if you're new to the game, if you're intermediate or advanced. I promise you will learn some things about how to dominate with Rampart. If you're new here, my channel centers around helping you guys improve at Apex, so if you don't want to miss out on my next upload, please think about subscribing. Enough about that though, let's get right into this video. Rampart is a defensive legend and her role on the team is a defensive support role. It's critical to be patient as you play with Rampart, because being defensive doesn't necessarily mean you need to camp and be passive all game. I certainly do not play Rampart like that, but you do want to think about how your abilities can assist you and your teammates in any given fight. Let's cover Rampart's recent changes from the Evolution Collection event. So, Rampart is now able to have her turret Sheila out when she is running, and she can shoot it while walking. To balance this change, they are making the spin up time longer, and she only gets one magazine in this mode. But once Sheila is out, you can put it away and pull it back out until you run out of ammo, or if you hit the cooldown time. At any point, you can still place Sheila down for you or your teammates, and it will act just the same as before. However, once you put it down, you can't pick it back up. If you guys are enjoying this video, please be sure to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. This only takes a second of your time and it helps my video out tremendously. Now I'm going to go over Rampart's abilities and offer some tips and tricks to improve with them. Rampart's passive is called the modded loader. Now this increases reload speed by 25% and increases magazine size by 15% with LMGs and her ultimate. Obviously this passive is going to encourage you to pick up weapons like the L-Star, Devotion, and Rampage. And with so, it's going to bring a little extra utility to those weapons. Now that reload speeds are tied to standard stocks instead of extended magazines, I should note that with this passive, reload speed times stack with the standard stock reload times. I strongly encourage you to pick up the L-Star and the Rampage this season if you are going to be playing Rampart. These guns are extremely powerful in her hands. Now let's move on to Rampart's tactical, amped cover. Rampart places rectangular walls. The upper half of the wall blocks a certain amount of bullets taken from one direction and enhances any bullets fired from the opposite direction. You're able to have 5 of these walls out at once, but you only hold 3 charges for this tactical. And once your third wall is placed, the next wall will be on a 20-second cooldown. The amp cover takes 3 seconds to deploy, and during that time it only needs to take 45 damage for it to be destroyed. So smart players will never let you place walls down if they have line of sight on you. This is a big reason why Rampart is an awkward legend, because you either need to have walls up set up beforehand and have teams come to you, or you got to be using them during a fight, and that's going to be really difficult at times. Once the walls are deployed, that's when they are much stronger. The base of the barrier is going to take 400 damage to destroy, and the amp section takes 175 damage to be destroyed. The damage boost you get from shooting behind the wall is a 20% increase, and this can make a huge difference in a fight. You will be melting people behind your amped cover if they walk into your line of sight, especially with headshot multipliers. This is ultimately what makes Rampart super viable, and this is why you got to be patient with Rampart, because of how much of an advantage you have behind her cover. I recommend whenever you see a team, think about your surroundings now, and map awareness is going to be really key here, but understand where you can be placing walls and looking for those preferable angles to get a knock on your enemy. Now if you're placing walls but then quickly repositioning, you got to make sure to recall your walls so that enemies can't take over your amped cover. This is where Rampart's really going to shine. If you forget to pick up the walls though, it will be extremely oppressing when you give that position up and then an enemy takes it over and kills you behind your own cover. She's one of the only legends where her abilities can backfire on you. I also like to place the walls at doors so that if enemies try to come in or peek the doorway, I just ADS and knock them usually. Holding areas with Rampart is really strong, especially if you get the best spot in zone or is getting down to late game. Now, if you're holding an area, just always be aware of a flank. Smart players will obviously try to reposition so that they get behind you and the cover that you're using. And if you don't hear them, it's probably going to be a GG. Okay, now let's finally talk about her new ultimate and how good it actually is. Her ultimate is better known as Sheila, and you can place a mounted machine gun that anyone can use with an unlimited amount of ammo with a long reload time. The ammo is only unlimited if it is placed down first. You do not get an unlimited amount if you are carrying Sheila around. Now the cooldown on this ultimate is only 2 minutes. Each bullet does 14 damage, but with a 2 times headshot multiplier. and it has a fire rate of 20 bullets per second. So what does this mean? It means the time to kill with this gun is insanely fast. Now, the biggest issue with Rampart previously was 1, having Sheila set up and behind some amp cover, and then 2, having a team be able to come into your line of sight. And if that happened, you would probably get a knock with Sheila, but it was ultimately a fairly rare scenario. However, now with the new update to Sheila, I gotta say, this is pretty busted, guys. This makes her ultimate much more viable, but I'm just not too sure about how balanced this is. They are probably going to have to tweak how the turret works if she's walking versus if it is stationary. I don't think it's too balanced to be able to squad wipe a whole team without having to reload and doing it all in the fastest time possible in Apex Legends. Now, the initial accuracy on this gun is poor, but then it just gets insanely easy to use after probably the first like 5 or 10 bullets. It takes 350 damage to destroy a Sheila, but this isn't going to be super viable anymore because if Rampart is running around with it, you're just going to have to try to kill Rampart and not destroy the gun itself. But if you do see a stationary Sheila, 350 damage is what it'll take. So the question is, how do you fight against a Rampart with a Sheila if she's running around with it? Well, my best tip is break line of sight when they are firing that thing at you. They're going to have to pause, and then when they pause, you peek and you try to do damage to them and get that knock. Because there's a spin up time, they aren't just able to shoot you as soon as they see you. They need that spin up time, and you got to use those brief seconds as your advantage, like I did here in this clip. If you are playing as Rampart, you got to be using the amped cover with Sheila because it's so much better now because you don't have to be stationary on the gun. If the cover gets destroyed, you can still have Sheila out and then just place another wall down. You don't have to mount the gun, then unmount the gun. It's so much easier. And this honestly makes Rampart a scarier legend to fight against. I do think a nerf will come, but you guys got to let me know. What do you think down in the comments? Now, I wasn't planning on talking about this in today's video, but I just have to. Obviously, some of you guys will know this if you waited around to try to play the new update. The servers were a complete mess. Now, I was ready right when the update came out at 1 p.m. EST, and I don't think I was able to even get into a game until 5 hours later. And even once I was able to get into a game, there were so many connectivity issues, code leave, code shoe, code sign on. I mean, I barely got to play any games while trying to record for this video. And eventually I just had to give up. I mean, I just don't understand. There's no way all of the player base crashed the servers like it did in Season 9. There's hardly any new content in this update besides a town takeover and an heirloom. And if you look at the history of updates, that's a pretty minimal update compared to like an LTM or some other things going on. So I don't understand how the servers couldn't handle it for over 6 hours. And I wouldn't be so critical if this didn't seem to happen just about every single update that Apex rolls out. It's just become a complete joke at this point, and lately I just feel like way less enthusiastic about any new update that's coming. And you guys know me, if you watch my videos, I'm rarely critical about Apex in my videos. I'm pretty positive about Apex, but I've got to be critical here because I do make money off of the content I make for this game. So when I waste 6+ hours to not get any content, when the content is super relevant, it's really annoying. On top of that, they also kept tweeting out that everything was fixed when it absolutely wasn't. So I don't know, guys. I just had to throw that out there and talk to you a little bit about the frustrations that come with being a content creator for Apex Legends lately. Thanks for watching this video. I hope to catch you on my next upload. Peace.